right. Hello, Virgo. How's everybody doing today? My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. So great to see everybody. I hope that your day has gotten off to a great start, and I'm looking forward to helping you navigate through all of the opportunities in the month ahead. We're getting ready here to do the monthly forecast, and again, this is for the next 6 to 8 weeks. I'll be looking at all of the energy for Virgo, and this can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, and really any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. Towards the latter part of the reading, I'll actually fine-tune it just a little bit for Sun, Rising, and Moon, so I hope you stick around for that part as well. Again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to begin with channeled messages at the very beginning, and this is basically what comes to me through dreams and also through meditation. And after we do that, then we'll take a look at the Celtic Cross, which will help us see whatever needs to be shown for the month ahead. And then after that, I always delve a little deeper into the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. There's a lot of other parts that will be part of this reading today, but we'll get to that as we get closer to them. First things first, if you're enjoying what you see here, I would love it if you could hit like, subscribe, and would be a part of these future readings. So the bell icon is also a way to make sure that you don't miss out on anything important. You can also join me across social media. I'm on all major platforms at Nicholas Ashbaugh. The only exception here is Twitter, which is @Ashbaugh, and you can go to my website for information on that. Remember, I don't offer private readings, and I don't use direct messages, so that's a good way to tell the real Nicholas from anybody that might be an imposter. And finally, if you'd like to show some love and support, it's optional, but it does help. You can do that through SuperStickers, SuperChats, and also through memberships. And now that I've got my internet connection back, I can hopefully do some specific lives for members, so more to come on that. All right, folks, let's get into your channeled message for today. What came to me in dreams was actually a camera, and more specifically the sort of process of developing film or exposing things. Like I use cameras for this, a DSLR, and you have to have the right exposure. So we'll be talking a little bit about that and how that's going to help you out. So let's go ahead now and pull up the presentation that I have, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. So today we'll be looking, as I said, at the camera, and it's interesting because my grandfather was Italian. He could speak Italian, French, and also English, and perfect English. I didn't even know until I was like a young kid that he had immigrated from Italy. But one thing that he would tell me is, like different words that were Italian. And one, he said, camera means box in Italian. And he repeated it so many times, I never forgot that. And so one of the things that we'll be looking at today is how to break out of a box or think out of a box. And sometimes, we can be stuck in an echo chamber, surrounded by people that think and act the same way. And one of the things I think that the month ahead is giving you a chance to do is to get out of that echo chamber and to see like the bigger world around you. Okay. So hello to my grandfather up in the ethers. Thanks for today's totem. All right. So it's all about the process. When I was in high school, I took black and white film classes, and I also did it in college too. Even though we're in a digital age, there's something really cool about the process of developing film, and also like working with a traditional SLR that you have to get the right exposure, and you don't know what it's going to look like until you actually get into the dark room, develop it, and then expose it and all of that. So it's kind of cool. It's a lost art in many ways, and trust me, I love digital. I have tons of digital devices, but there is something kind of cool about that traditional medium. All right, so developing. It requires precision, patience, and a specific process. This is also true for color, but let's just talk about black and white because it's a little bit easier. In life, the same precision and consistency is key to success. When you're doing black and white film, there's like these different developing baths that you have to put the photo paper in after you've exposed it. And basically, if you don't expose it the right amount in each one of these baths, it's not going to sort of like the image won't stay, or you won't kind of like fix it in there. Also, like when you're exposing the film onto the paper, if you overdo it or underdo it, things will fall apart. So the process is really important. It's something that you can totally mess up something good if you're not paying attention here. So for you in your life right now, pick a process. You get to kind of develop your own process, something that works for you, and then stick with it and fine tune it. And this is a time for those of you that are maybe you're trying to work on something big. If it doesn't work the first time, it's kind of like cooking, right? So My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, she loved to bake, but it was kind of like intuitive. She never wrote down the recipes, but she knew. She said it was through practice. She was like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little longer here. Didn't quite work out last time, so I'm going to try this. Cooking is experimental, and once you get that process, though, it is good to record it and fix it, and then you know each time you can repeat it for success. So for you, there's a little bit of trial and error, but once you find it, whatever works for you works for you. And I think this is about figuring out what your perfect sort of like process in expressing yourself, in like what it is that you do for a living, the right mix of relationship versus work energy. This is you trying to find out like your special sauce, and only you can find that. I did put the Eight of Pentacles here, which is about recording what works. So journaling, writing, and learning, all of these things are very much encouraged right now because that's going to help you perfect the process. Exposure is a big piece of photography. We can actually take this on a broader level to look at exposure, like how much limelight, how much spotlight you're getting. So you may find yourself feeling overexposed where there's too much attention, or underexposed where you need more time, energy, or attention to get something done. So this month is about advocating for what's right for you. If you feel overexposed, you're going to put in proper boundaries and stick to them and say, I need space here, or it's not appropriate to ask about this, or simply saying no to things that don't feel right. And if you need more help or more attention, raise your hand and ask a question. That was actually a card that I pulled for today's reading. It was the Emperor, and I was not the Emperor. It was the King of Swords. And I said one of the important things that you can do is to basically ask a question or propose something to someone. You never know until you ask, and so make sure that you're bringing proper attention to something. Okay. Thinking outside of the box. So here's where we're going to talk about camera obscura, which was one of the earliest forms of camera. And it's basically a box with a light in it where you can see an image reflected. We use this in schools to see eclipses, solar eclipses, because we don't want to hurt our eyes looking at the sun, right? Artists also use this to paint or draw things. So there would be a small hole in the wall they could project an image in, and then they could paint or sketch around it. Now, as I said before, sometimes we feel like we're on the outside looking in, or there's just this little tiny pinpoint of light. So this can also represent the need to break free of pre-existing glass ceilings or boundaries or constraints that maybe weren't of our own creation. And so this is your chance to really say, that doesn't suit me. That's not what I'm looking for. And the last bullet here is the most important. Go bigger, go bolder, go beyond. And this is the Emperor card from the Fountain Tarot, and that was actually featured recently as well. That was yesterday's. I love it because we see him trying to kind of like do something with the box, get out of the box. And it takes time sometimes for us to do that. The box can be the school that we went to, the family that we lived in, the culture we were raised in. And these boxes, sometimes there's multiple boxes. It takes a while to sort of like break free of them. So that's one of the challenges you might have this month, is letting go of an old way or an old habit and hopefully creating a new habit or a new way to do it, because your special sauce, your menu, your recipe is going to be different than what worked for your parents or your parents' parents. And you may be more comfortable doing things than they were. All of that stuff is coming together in nice focus here. Okay? So also this is about nostalgia and perhaps disconnecting with that sort of nostalgic energy. So I featured the Judgment card. There's so many different ones that could have been here. Judgment, even the Devil card, or the Six of Cups, because we're looking at the past and all the trappings of the past. So photos, the whole thing that we use for cameras and photography, it's so that we can record. I'm using a camera right now to make sure that all of this goes through, and it gets now, instead of recorded on film, it's recorded at YouTube and put in a place where you can watch it later. But there is a time and a place for review, and there's a time and a place for nostalgia, and then there's a place where sometimes it holds us back. So one of the things that I like to talk about when I used to have clients and I would coach them, I would say, what is it that you're really trying to do with your life? Like projecting into the future, and that's going to be the next card, is so much better than looking at the past with regret. So take the regrets and make them a goal. If you think to yourself, I wish I would have asked out that person, maybe there's still time to connect with them. Maybe you can use that energy to realize right here and right now, you're going to say how you feel to the people that you care about. You can say, I love you. I say I love you to Apollo all the time. He's such a good boy. But you can say it to the people in your life, the pets in your life, the opportunities around you. You can just express appreciation for them in real time. And live in the present, not in the past. Learn from the past, allow it to shape who you are, but allow yourself also to go beyond that. And judgment is basically the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's a second chance. We don't have to go into spirit. We don't have to die in order to be reborn in this lifetime. There are many types of rebirths. Like when we enter into a new relationship, that's a new version of ourselves. When we come out of a relationship, it's a new version of ourselves. When we lose someone that we love, we change, we're stronger, we're different. Every single major chapter, we look at things like weddings, funerals, graduations. Those are some of the ones that we can all relate to. But there are smaller deaths and rebirths that we go through each and every day. So today, just choose to step into something new, and that's really the power. And finally, and this is where I think we can work together as we look at the cards today. I put picture perfect here, but the Two of Wands, and also in concert with the Seven of Cups, they work together for daydreaming and then planning. The Two of Wands is a lot more grounded than the Seven of Cups, which is literally up in the air. So you might find yourself vacillating between two things. I'd love to do this, or this sounds fun. Okay, this is what I'm going to do about it. So I'd like you to kind of have fun with both of those energies, but ultimately let the universe know, I am ready now. Let's bring this on. Let's go. I'm here. I'm present. And those are the messages for today. I'll do a mini review and then we're going to get into the Celtic Cross. All right, so again, your totem today was the camera. And the camera has so many different things that we can look at, but today it was basically about breaking out of expectations or the box and breaking free of the past, if I had to sum it up. You can create your own process. I think the big takeaway from this slide is what worked for your parents, your grandparents, and people around you, it may not work for you. And guess what? That's fine. That doesn't make them better or worse, or you better or worse. It just makes you, you. You're going to have to play around with maybe raising your hand when you're not being paid attention to, and then also being more comfortable when the spotlight is on you, because both of these energies are presenting themselves with this particular totem. So speak up when you have the platform and grab the mic if you need the mic. Break free of the old expectations in the box that you were born into. That was just one part of you. And it leads into the next card, which is basically re-envisioning and rebirthing yourself and saying what you want to do next. And that's the sort of big encompassing ideas we move through all of the totems today. Beautiful, or all the totem messages today. I would say the camera is a beautiful message. Something we haven't talked about in a while, and I really enjoyed that, so I hope you did too. All right, if you just joined, perfect timing. We're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross next, and as I said, my Celtic Cross, the way that I view it, it's not going to be just love or your person. It's more like soul coaching, what's going on in your life. Your job or your person may come through in this, but more importantly, you're going to come through in this, and then we're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. All right. Let's get the cards on the table and let's see what messages are coming through. It's great to see everybody. I hope your day is getting off to a good start, and I'm really happy that you chose to spend some time with me today. How is everyone doing, by the way? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, I always think of my grandpa when I think of the camera, so I'm grateful that he came through today. Let me just zoom out just a smidge so we can see this maybe better. There we go. Okay. Lots of messages around, we have like love and acceptance. We have some partnership energy here, the sacred union, and then we also have forgiveness. So people are playing a big part. Relationships are playing a big part in this energy for today. So we'll get into that and see how that's breaking down. First things first, let's take a look here in the corner. We have single-mindedness. It's the reverse of this, which is really saying I don't feel like this has to do with you. I think this has to do with the people around you. It's how to break through to people that are in their own world or kind of like in their own silo. Let's look at this card upright because it's quite beautiful. It says single-mindedness, choose your own path and what's best suited to you. So the individualism that I talked about earlier, where your own sort of recipe for success is going to be unique to you, that definitely is a part of this. And we see a school of fish here, but we're paying attention to the fish in the forefront here, which may be leading the pack or separating from the pack a little bit. So for some of you, you're dealing with people that want you to stay part of that. They're single-minded. They're like, this is what works. This is what you said you were going to do. This is what you went to school for. This is what you've been trained and primed to do. And so it's sort of like the question this month is go with the flow or break free from that. There's no wrong answer here, but when we look at the caption, it's really encouraging that individual energy here. It says again, choose your own path and what's best suited to you. So it's how to kind of negotiate expectations and not lose yourself in that. So you should never lose who you are or what you're trying to do. And if anyone in your life conditionally says, I love you if you do this, or as long as you do this, we're okay. Again, that is conditional love. That is not unconditional love. And you can break free from that. And that's one of the challenges this month is wanting to please, wanting to be a part of something bigger, but knowing that at certain junctures in the road, you're going to have to break free from this school of fish. Some of you may be going back to school. Some of you may want to teach. This card is also giving you a big thumbs up with respect to that. So that's a great path if that's what you want to do. People want to follow you, but it's really up to you to trust in your voice, trust in your ability to lead, and that's going to help you succeed. Sink or swim, basically. All right, let's get into the cards, and we can periodically go back to that single-mindedness. All right, we have a beautiful card at the center. I love page cards because they have the ability to basically plug into everything. So we have the Page of Swords. This is really connected to communication, and it's basically saying here, what do you stand for? And have you communicated? Have you sort of put that out there? A lot of times we passively wait and we hope that someone will just do what we want them to do. So if you're waiting for someone to ask you out, if you're hoping to get a raise at work, if you want something to be dealt with and you're hoping that someone's going to bring it up, let's say there's a problem in the relationship, this is saying you hold the key here and you hold the mic. This is where we talked about earlier, that mic moment where it's important for you to grab it if no one's listening. So grab it, or grab the bullhorn, or whatever sort of metaphor you want to sort of think of here. It's your turn, it's your opportunity. It might even be your responsibility to speak up. The Page of Swords is an excellent communicator and a very easy communicator to deal with because they typically have a sense of self, but also empathy. The higher we go up in the suit of swords, especially towards the queen and the king, sometimes there can be entitlement or power energy that gets involved with that. But the page and the knight are very fluid and very easy to work with. So what I like about this moment in time is you appear to be a great communicator. It seems like you're open-minded. This card is basically begging the question, are you ready to take action? Or what are you doing to take action? Because this is about communication and action. So as long as those two things are working in concert, then I think that that's going to be that's going to put you in a good place. By the way, if anyone's asking questions, save your question till the end. For those who just joined, I have a special piece at the end where there's a final card and you can meditate on a question. Otherwise, everything that you see here is a general reading and your question will likely be answered as I go through this. All right, this is a great card for also writing things down. I mentioned the importance of recording the process as you're going along. So if you have this great idea, or if you have questions, or if you're learning about yourself, journaling is a good thing. If you have a big presentation or a meeting that you care about, go into it with those bullets or those questions so that you basically have something to spring off of. Okay, no matter how you slice it, I really like the Page of Swords at the center. It's very much connected to the card that I pulled for today's one card reading, which was the King of Swords, which was saying you have the capacity to do anything. You just have to use your voice, okay? Let's look at the card that's crossing it. We have another page, the Page of Wands. You put these two together, it's about walking the walk and then talking the talk. This is about walking the walk. So for those of you that said you're going to do something, this is legitimately about doing it. This is also about letting people know what you think and how you feel. The Page of Swords can just talk for the sake of talking, but the Page of Wands comes to the table with some great ideas. The biggest sort of tragedy would be not being able to share your thoughts or not being able to express yourself. So over this course of the next 6 to 8 weeks, if one thing that you could look at as you're weighing out opportunities is this question. If I do this, is this somehow expanding my knowledge or my experience? If I do this, are people going to value my contribution? This could be a job. This could be a freelance opportunity or a volunteer job. This could be spending time with someone that you love. Do you feel like the time spent is making you better? And do you also feel like the person or the activity or the environment is receptive to you? Both sides are kind of plugging into one another. And you have to be able to feel that cognitive connection is there. When we're looking at some of you that might be dating, things could pick up pretty quickly. And I do see a strong physical and mental connection with that person. So this is a great time if there's a new relationship budding to explore it. Okay. And I also like that we have 2 pages. Evenly met, kind of playful energies as well. All right. But again, for those of you that are entrepreneurs, this is a great idea. And this is taking action on that idea. So this is a great period for so far what I'm looking at for work and also for personal development. Okay. All right, let's take a look now at your deep past. This is a really cool deck because it has a couple of extra cards. And in this one, we have something called the Fountain. And it's the Fountain deck. So this is sort of like a Stargate if you look at it. For any of you that watched 2001: A Space Odyssey, that movie from the 60s or 70s, Stanley Kubrick movie, there is a scene where there are these... what are they? They're not obelisks, they're monoliths. So there are these monoliths in the movie that ultimately end up being a stargate. So if you read the book, there's a line at the end that says, my God, it's full of stars, because they didn't know what it was. So in this period of time, there could be a hidden opportunity or a hidden portal or in front of you where you open it up and you're like, this is what it was all about. This is why I had all of these other doors closed. This is why I've been waiting. There is this sort of aha moment for many of you. This is also a limitless card. Literally, we see the infinity symbol on it. So what I was talking about earlier, where you're thinking about elevating thoughts, not putting yourself in the box, all of that is definitely contained within that card. So I feel like some of you might have been holding yourself back. You're waiting for something. And this is showing like right here, right now, this is the time to open yourself up, to be willing to take a leap of faith if that opportunity or synchronicity presents itself. Because if not now, then when? Okay? As we look here at what's affecting you here in real time, recent past, we have the Nine of Swords. This is the conditional energy that I was alluding to earlier. One of the best Nine of Swords, you can see all of these cords basically connecting this person to other people. You look at him really close and he seems afraid, and we see all of those cords. Energetic cords, what are they? We talk about them a lot in metaphysics. When you think about somebody, when you love somebody, we can use Apollo as an example. Like I have all of these cords connected from my heart to him, from my third eye to him. He's very much a part of me and I'm a part of him energetically. So we have the strongest bonds in family and love, sometimes even with the enemies in our life, because we're putting a lot, we're investing a lot. And what it does is it energetically creates this sort of band of light or energetic connection to them. And the more kind of unconditional the connection, the more you can kind of empathetically feel what's going on with the other person. So this is what we would call like mother's intuition or father's intuition. You would know something's wrong with your kid before they ask. Twins have it, best friends have it. You just kind of you can almost complete each other's sentences. So the more connected you are to another person, If it's positive, the more blessings that come through. When it's negative, we start to pick up on things like fears and anxieties as well. So cords cut both ways. They can be blessings. They can also be anchors. So if there are people in your life and they're constantly, it's like there's a black cloud above their head and they're constantly sort of digging at your energy, this is where you want to work at creating better boundaries. One way that we can cut cords or cut the connection is simply by saying no. So if someone is constantly asking you for a favor or a handout or money or complaining to you, what you can do is simply put in a boundary and say, I'm so sorry, I have to get back to work, or I can't help you, or please stop. Whatever it is, you've basically communicated, used the Page of Swords at the center. You've communicated intent. You have this feeling, you've used your words, you've said what you need to, you cut the cords. Words are a great way to cut cords. We'll do it maybe in the meditation today. Remind me as we get closer. But saying something as simple as this: I release you from my mind, my body, and spirit. I am grateful for the lesson that you've taught, but I no longer require it. You are free and I am free too. That's it. That's a cord cutting intention. You can imagine that you're pushing light between you and the other person and the cord dissolves. That's it. People sometimes are afraid of cutting cords with people that they love because they don't want to lose connection with them. You're never going to lose connection. You can always keep the heart chakra open, but you should look at the other ones that don't suit you and say, I don't need that anymore. It's kind of like if we think of pipes or cords that are rusted or frayed in our own life, we don't want those. So it's the same sort of thing. You're just getting rid of old hardware that doesn't work or doesn't suit you. You can always build new connections, better connections in the future. Now, more specifically, a traditional view of the Nine of Swords would be a lack of sleep and also going to worst case scenarios when you shouldn't. So the warning right now is don't give in to self-defeating thoughts or thoughts that kind of are, oh my God, what if this happens and then this and then this, and we kind of build ourselves this wall that we can't get out of, or we dig ourselves into this endless rabbit hole. So don't allow yourself to go into that fear spiral, we'll call it that. Instead, empower yourself by what? Asking questions. Talk to people around you. Use your voice, because that was the center card today, okay? So speak up, ask other people, research, read, listen. Communication helps you get out of that. And then also keeping a very open mind helps you as well. Notice how she's almost like a conductor, moving the energy, moving the opportunities around her. So an open mind allows you to navigate through things with a sense of ease. Even when we look at that school of fish, they're very flexible. They're going this way and then that way. It's not a straight line. Life very rarely is a straight line, right? It's always going to be back and forth energy, okay? Let's go ahead now and take a look at your crowning card. I love this. And I actually want to take a quick peek at what's going on around here because it will help me frame it up. So you have two amazing cards here. We have the Fountain and the Star. Deep Past is going to now bring you into this breakout moment. We also have a card here affirming that, the Three of Wands. We also have a card of power here, the Magician. Almost nothing else matters here. This fear card is just fear. Everything else looks really good. This is a great time for you. I don't know what's been going on prior to this month, but it's a breakthrough month. You only have two fear-based cards, Nine of Swords and Three of Swords. So I feel like you can easily navigate this as we kind of work through the story of the month here, but just take a deep breath and know that there's a bigger pattern for everything. Starting with this top card, Three of Wands. It is about looking in the right direction. Look at this really cool illustration. We see a lasso instead of the traditional three wands. And it's almost like there's been a camera that stopped the lasso in three locations. So some of you may be putting your energy in the wrong place because this Three of Wands is very much energetically driven. Let's look at the traditional one, and I'm going to give you some additional insights. Three of Wands means this: what you seek not only is available, but it's happening. Why don't you see it? You could be focusing in the wrong direction on the wrong person, or focusing more on the fears rather than the reality. Here's your traditional Three of Wands. The person standing on a hill. There are three wands behind him. There are three ships in front of him. His dreams are coming true. They're right there in front of him. What can happen though is sometimes, let's say there's an environmental distraction. Your partner, a child, a family member, something's going on, something's wrong. Temporarily, you're no longer looking at the ships coming in. Instead, your attention is focused over here, so you miss one of those ships. Instead of looking forward, some of you may be looking over your shoulder with regret at the past. You miss one of the ships. But no matter what, you're going to probably catch at least one of those. You have to be focused, open, and also optimistic enough to believe that a breakthrough is at hand. So with the reversal of this, it's saying don't be impatient, don't be distracted, and don't give up. Instead, take action. And I love an active Three of Wands. He's not waiting for the ship to come in. He's creating the synchronicity. He's opening up. He's basically taking that and saying, I want that, or I see it. Let's bring it closer, because that's what a lasso does. I'm not a cowboy, but I've seen enough movies that I know that that's what it does. So instead of passively waiting, he could turn his attention to something that's going to be receptive of the energy and lasso it in. And that's what you can do this month, Virgo, is lasso in what you want, okay? And not focus on things that are not receptive. All right. Let's take a look here. By the way, for people that are saying, I've already done a lot of these, there's actually meditations on my website for that. I do it a lot. We're going to do a meditation today, so just relax. And at the end, we'll have a chance to do that sort of release energy. And this will be available on replay. Okay, so let's focus on what's coming through next. We have the Magician card here in the near future. Magician is one of the most powerful cards connected to spirit. It is in the reverse state, however, which is about focus. So the Magician has one of every element. We can see the cup, we can see the wand, the sword, etc. here. But what happens sometimes with the Magician is this feeling like, where do I get started, right? I think we've all been there at some point. You have all these ideas sort of like flying through your head. You have all of these sort of wishes in your heart, and you think, I don't know where to start. So I would focus today, whenever you're listening to this today can be whenever. Focus today on the thing that excites you the most, or the thing that you need to get the most information on, and just pick that focal point. And it's just like a camera. You have different things that you can do, like selective focus. So watch what happens. Right now you can see everything, but I have an autofocus on this lens, and it's a prime lens. But when you bring it a little closer, I will fall out of focus, and the Magician now is in focus. So this allows you to not be distracted by the candle over my shoulder, by the dog behind me, by me talking. You can just see what's in front of you. So the Magician has the same ability. Elements here, 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 here. Sometimes when you're looking at everything, it's distracting. When you focus on one, you can really see it for what it is. So pick one thing and see some progress in that area, okay? So maybe it's gonna, for instance, if you're a project manager, you might start with the budget. How much money do we have? The second thing you look at is how much time do we have? Then you're gonna look at the scope. What are we trying to get done? Is it realistic with the budget and the timeline? And those are the three things that a project manager typically looks at. And so you can look at the same things in your life. What do I want? How much time, how much budget or energy do I have? And then the last thing that wouldn't be in that would be what kind of desire, because we have cups too as a part of this. So you put those together, then it's going to help, but you do it one at a time. What do I want? Resources, time, desire. You can do it in that order too, to kind of keep checking back with what's realistic and adjust as needed. You look at it all at once, it's overwhelming. You look at it one by one, you get the information, you're prepared, you can make decisions. The Magician manifests. So if the Magician is worried about fear, he's going to bring in fearful opportunities and lessons, right? And if we look at what's bookending here, so we have the two power and movement cards here. Hard to see because they're a little overexposed. But we have the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords here. And then we have fear and we have manifestation. So we want to focus on manifesting the positive, not the fear. All right. So that would be the main message here with all of this. The Magician also is a jack of all trades, but not necessarily mastering any one thing. So you do have a choice this month to kind of go deeper in one area and maybe not spread yourself so thin. All right, let's go into how you're showing up this month. It's a pretty good card, actually. So we have the Page of Cups. This is your third page this month. So it very much is Magician energy. We have a bunch of pages showing a bunch of different things coming through, and you have to make some choices. The Page of Cups, we've already pulled the cup outside of the box, which is good. But this is about opening yourself up to receive. I am ready to receive this opportunity. I'm deserving of this attention. I'm ready for love or a relationship. I am ready. You're also going to ask for what you want. I would like that. And you're going to say it knowing that you deserve it. So you start first by thinking, I'm ready. And then you say what you want. And then you say thank you when it comes to you. You're in the process of manifesting, but you have to speak up. We've got 3 pages: page of wands, page of swords, page of cups. Express your thoughts, express your feelings, take action on those as well. But yeah, that's basically it. The only thing that's missing is pentacles, and I definitely will have to take a look at that as I take a look at the reader's choice. So when I was talking about all the things that a project manager would look at, the one thing that's missing is maybe time, energy, or money. So I'll help you with that as we look at the extended forecast, but that's the only thing that I'm sort of seeing so far. What is very cool, though, is your ability to innovate, to dream, and to also pull people into your energy. So even if you're missing that resource, you might be able to get support through your sort of extended group of friends and family and colleagues. This is also a really good time to focus on core relationships. If you're looking for love, you're showing up in a really strong way. I look for, this is the chemistry card. So this tells me that people would look at you and be drawn to you. It's magnetic. There's this sort of chemical or pheromone energy with the magician. So if you're looking for love, not only are you showing up in a good way, but the universe is providing it. We have the Ace of Cups here. However, your power card, the magician, and what's going on in the environment, the ace, they're reversed. So let's talk about that. First, don't doubt yourself. The universe is saying, you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are attractive, you are magnetic. Don't doubt that. Now, what's coming in the environment because of the doubt is someone who also needs validation. So when you no longer seek validation, there's not going to be someone that you're drawing in your life that either denies you the validation or needs validation themselves. So think to yourself, I'm ready, I'm deserving, I've got this. And then you're going to pull people into your life that think, oh, you're ready, you're deserving, you're someone I want to connect with. And so instead, they're going to want some of your time and energy because they're drawn to you, not because you need validation or you're lacking something. One thing that I see here is that there may be some people around you that are just exhausted emotionally. This could be anybody, really, because it's an ace. So this could be your child, your partner, your parent. And what you have to decide is, how much can I give and still have enough to take care of myself? So caretakers, it's always important to reserve some energy for yourself, because whoever depends on you being healthy, happy, and being able to sustain. When you're giving in a relationship, there should also be receiving. So this is also about really making sure that you ask for what it is that you need, because other people do a good job of that. Think, every day it's filled with requests, right? You get bills from your utility companies. Your bank is going to send you statements. Your boss is going to give you requests. Your friends and family are going to require things of you. It's okay to ask for what you want. And that's what this is. What do you want? How are you going to say what you want? And can you do that without feeling like it's somehow not appropriate to ask for what you want? The Ace of Cups is ultimately saying love and abundance wants to come into your life. So focus on being ready. Heal your heart, heal your life, bring yourself into new situations without baggage, and good things are going to come. This is going to be a really good time for expressing yourself. This is a card of being, like I said, magnetic and convincing. This is a card of manifestation. This is an emotionally available card as well. You pull all of these together and other people are really into what you have to offer too. Persuasion is coming through in a very large way right now, and I like that for you. So far, the only limiting thing that I'm seeing here is this. So we have the Three of Swords in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunity. And it's kind of cool. It reminds me of that old Blondie song, Heart of Glass, right? So we kind of see this glass heart it's almost like soap bubbles too, with the 3 swords through it. You are stronger than you give yourself credit for. This is a very fragile image, but I don't get that sense of fragility from the cards that I'm seeing in front of me. So there is a fear that the heart can't handle it, but the truth of what I'm seeing is expansion. We talked about the star, visibility, and maybe some of you are just afraid of a repeat of disappointment. In the past, someone said you weren't good enough. In the past, someone denied you a job or a relationship that you were seeking. That's not happening right now, unless you keep investing in the fear and you want to attract the lesson again. It's ready to pop. This is the cool thing. So if we look at this as a soap bubble, it's going to just pop in the air. And then you just have 3 swords that you can do things with, 3 opportunities, 3 ways of thinking. So free yourself from this feeling that you are fragile. You have this hidden strength that wants to come through right now. The only thing that's fragile is the fear. Okay? Let's look at your outcome. It's fantastic. I love the star. I love this illustration of the star. We see someone riding that sort of wave of light there. And this is your chance to really reach for the stars and the star and be the star energy. And we have basically 2 stellar cards. You've worked not just hard in this life, but in past lifetimes to open up this portal and open up this opportunity. You owe it to yourself to shine, to go for it, and to basically understand that you don't have to change yourself for anybody in this lifetime. The star is upright, which means shine brightly, be authentic, be bold. It's basically what I wrote in this. We featured the star, so let's bring it back for a second and look at this because it's good to review. All right, so here's what I wrote earlier when I was bringing through the star energy. I said, actually, the spotlight's on you, but this one actually helped us a little bit. Go bigger, go bolder, and go beyond what you went before or where you went before. And the exposure was the comfort of being in the spotlight or raising your hand or taking the mic and saying, hello, I need this or I need that. Okay? So there we go. Good to review that. Let's now expand this even further and take a look at some bigger things like health, wealth, love, and destiny. These lenses are going to give us some additional insights on how you can break through this month and connect with that star energy. Okay, so actually a quick reminder as I look at health. I am not a doctor, I am an intuitive reader. So I'm going to help you find energetic pathways, metaphysical energies that are going to help you feel healthier and happier. But if there's anything going on with your body or your mental health, obviously, I encourage you to work with a professional for that. Let's take a look at what came through. Forgiveness. I think we could all agree that this is a very healthy thing to do, to forgive yourself and to forgive others. It says here, I am acknowledging that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Indeed, it does. One thing that we can remember with forgiveness is that it starts internally. So sometimes we beat ourselves up. If I'd only done this, why didn't I do this? We even call ourselves words like stupid or, whatever. Don't do that anymore. Love yourself more and think to yourself, maybe I could have handled it better, but here's what I learned from it, and this is what I'm going to do about it. That's the 2 or the 3 pages coming together today to say, all right, what can we do to build upon this? It's a foundational experience. If you learn from it, then not only can you forgive yourself, but you can celebrate the fact that you're stronger and you're wiser. When you hold on to a grudge, when you're angry or when you hate someone, it's so good that we have this card here, but it cuts both ways. You feel the pain and so does the other person. So all the pain and anger and vitriol that we kind of spout out towards others, we feel it too. It's hitting us. So if for no other reason than to heal yourself, forgiving someone actually frees you too. And you can just think, at some point in your life, you can think about another person, they're not worth the energy. I am willing to move beyond this because the time and energy I'm putting into that regret, that anger, holding on to that grudge, it could be better spent on other things. And remember, your missing card today is Pentacles. And so for some of you, these 2 cards tell the story. So the 9 of Swords is that fear or anger or anguish, and the forgiveness is the key to getting out of that, and that's going to open up all the pentacles that are missing, okay? So forgive yourself and forgive others if for no other reason to open up your heart and open up your resources. Let's take a closer look at all of the cards now and see what else is coming through from a health perspective. Looking at your sleep habits, of course, whenever we have 9 of Pentacles 9 of Swords is really important because with the 9 of Swords, a lot of what happens is we're taking our problems home from work. Or from school, and you're sitting there in bed worrying already about tomorrow before it even comes. give yourself a chance to just rest. One thing that I've learned is sleep is magical. I can get 2 or 3 hours sleep and approach a problem with fresh perspective, renewed energy, and the ability to just hit it out of the park. But if I sit there and stress, I'm going to eat away at that healing energy, and then I don't do as well. So just plant this idea. Tomorrow is going to be better. Tomorrow is going to be different for sure. Let's make that difference something that you can embrace. And maybe it's going to be a surprising difference. So just stay open-minded. Okay, that's the first thing that I see. Allow yourself to rest. Pay attention to your consistency. Remembering we were talking about the process here. You need to have a consistent bedtime and a consistent wake time. So put a habit into place there and look at your own living environment as well. Make sure that the bedroom is uncluttered, that you're not watching TV before you go to bed, you're not reading too much, you're allowing yourself just to kind of fall into that slumber. Some of you may need to talk to someone because you're on a rebound. The Three of Swords can also indicate this fear that there's going to be a repeat in history. So talking to a friend or a counselor could definitely help through that sort of situation. The Magician can tend to sometimes go into addictive tendencies or obsessive tendencies. So some of us are at the very lightest energy. It could just be recovering perfectionist. But there may also be other triggers in your life of anxiety or addictions that could come through this month. So you want to be strong when that happens. Reach out to someone. Ultimately, we see a happy card and a strong card up here. So I feel like you can overcome those tendencies, but they're still here. There's just a lot of sensitivity this month with the Page of Cups and the Ace of Cups here, and even the Three of Swords. So making sure that you're aware of, again, what triggers those sort of sensitive moments for you and how you're going to navigate those to sort of be strong is going to be key. Just trying to pull out a little bit. There we go. I think that's going to help you out quite a bit. All right, so let me see if there's anything else. No, I think that's pretty much everything with respect to health. So let's go ahead and move on to wealth. So a powerful relationship is coming through here, and it could help you with business. So this could be a new partnership. This could be a friend that knows about something that is opening up for you. This can also be love from like a work situation here. We have partnership and romance together. So you could meet someone at a work party. You could be going to a professional get-together and you meet someone that is going to be very significant. A good friend, a good love interest, or a good business connection. Suffice it to say, when it comes to wealth, career, and personal development, networking is important. The next big thing comes from someone you know or someone that you're about to know. So put yourself out there. That also connects nicely with what I pulled in channeled messages and also as your outcome card, the Star. This is a time where you don't have to work as hard for those people to kind of pay attention to you. What you do want to do is put your best foot forward. So update your LinkedIn profile, update your website, your social media, update your business cards, update your wardrobe. Put yourself in that sort of positive energy so that when people see you, they see the star. Right, Apollo? So this is your chance to shine. This is your chance to really make a splash. Let me see if there's anything else here. I see things happening at a rapid clip. Three of Wands tells me within a month or within a quarter of a year, you could start to see things happening. But again, when we look at this card, I'll pull it up to the main camera, we see him lassoing that energy or lassoing that opportunity. There's a little bit of effort being put forth, but it's totally worth it, okay? Good. All right, so let's take a look here at the next piece here and see if there's anything else. Oh, one thing that I'd like you to focus on here is to understand that when it comes to disappointment, that a lot of times that can provide context. And sometimes we just have to go through a situation where, we have something that doesn't work out, and that helps us. That helps us realize this isn't what I wanted. This wasn't worth my time or energy. This isn't where I need to focus. So know that disappointment can actually give you the context to understand the present, that it is not necessarily going to repeat itself. History's not going to repeat itself. Things are going to be better this time around. Ultimately, that's what this is saying. This is a new ending. This is a new chapter in your life. History isn't repeating itself here as long as you're ready to dissolve that and say enough is enough. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to focus on here. That partnership that we talked about, we see the 2 pages here. One of you may be the person that is more comfortable talking, like for business. One of you may be the idea person. I also see a creative here, like so many pages. I think this could be a partnership of 3. We're going to look at relationships in a second. The extended forecast is health, wealth, love, and destiny. But when we're looking at business, which is what we're looking at right now, be open to maybe a small group and then delegating all of these different facts, or all of these different, not facts, but all of these different roles to different people. I think that could be really advantageous. All right, now let's move on to love and relationships. Patience is key here. For love and relationships, we have opportunity beckoning, and that's a really great card here. The card is reverse, which is just like the 3 of Wands in reverse, saying you may be looking in the wrong direction. You may be not open to this sort of energy when it presents itself. And that would be sad, because it looks like it's going to be very good for you. I like to look at this in 3 levels. We're going to, in just a moment, take a look at those of you in love, looking for love, or single and happy. But before we do that, just some general notes on what you should be focusing on for yourself is this. First of all, you are, in this lifetime, it's a breakthrough. You've basically broken karmic energy that has held you back before. And so what we see here in this diagonal is unstoppable energy, a portal or opportunity opening, the unstoppable or the manifesting energy of the magician, and then the star card, which is about, again, that ability to really be seen. Deep past, near future, outcome. Very good diagonal of energy here. You've done the work. It's presenting, there's a synchronicity opening. The only block is fear or anxiety. The only block could be exhaustion. The only block could be the anchors that other people are trying to tie down around you, like, I want you to do this, or you said you were going to do this. But you're kind of headed in this new trajectory. So as we look at relationships, unconditional love is going to support you in this trajectory. Now let's look at the relationships, starting with those that are in love. When I look at those in a current relationship, we're going to break it down on 2 different sort of discussions. One is I assume the best, like everything's good, and I'm going to read the cautionary cards as environmental. And the other one is maybe things aren't good, and I'm going to look at what could be causing some issues. So for those of you that are in a really solid relationship, it already reads that way, by the way. We have this playful energy here with the 2 pages, Page of Wands, Page of Swords. What wants to come through this month is more playful energy. We have the Page of Cups. So more intimacy, more travel, more just fun, not like working on, not always focusing on bills, kids, priorities, more on each other, more on being playful. So that's the first thing that I see is, things are fine, but there could be more intimacy. And we see the wanting and the desiring from the partner right here. The other thing here is I'm noticing that one or both of you have been stressed out. So this 3 of Swords could have been a loss or a disappointment in your life. The 9 of Swords could be a lot of people around you that are just tugging at you, and it could then play itself out in the relationship. So you want to be patient with one another. You want to open up communication, since that was your center card here, and you want to plan for the future. 3 of Wands is good. What are you looking for? How can I help you with this? Hey, I need some help with this. So be very inclusive in that and celebrate whoever's on the rise, because it does look like one of the 2 of you is very much in a good space. Now this is leading into the next thing. Some of you are cool with that. Sometimes it's, like there are partnerships where one partner's shining, the other one's behind the scenes, or you take turns shining. There could be partnerships where this presents an issue, because connected to that, we have the 3 of Swords. So let's say you're having a stressful time and your partner's doing great, or vice versa. How to navigate that, that'll be the primary challenge in the relationships right now. The Magician card, like I said before, can be a card of distraction or addiction. Some of you might be dealing with that as well. We also look at a school energy here. So some of you are trying to figure out like how to break free of a big family energy, or maybe one of you is going back to school. And again, it's sort of like taking time and energy away from the partner. No matter how we slice it though, when I look at these cards, they're all pretty positive. So if you want to plan it or work it out, it feels like you can. If you decide to go your own way, you're also going to be okay, because none of the outcome cards are negative. Okay. The only thing that's interesting here is there could be a third party entering into this. It could be family. It could be another person that's interested. You're going to have to navigate that with boundaries. All right, now let's move on to those that are single and looking. If you're single and looking, some healing needs to be done first. Right now, first of all, you can definitely meet someone. I see no less than 3 options, 3 pages. And you're very attractive. You're very magnetic energetically. But where you're blocking the relationships is fear and sadness, or fear of being hurt, or just fear. So moving beyond that is going to be key. Some of you are lacking clarity in what it is that you want. Very 7 of Cups energy, even though, or Magician reverse. It's just sort of like, I don't know what I want. I want a little this, I want a little this, and it's just hard for the universe to show up. So you're getting it in triplicate. We have 3 of Wands, and we have 3 pages. So if you can be more specific, a better match, a clearer opportunity can come to you. You're probably pulling in a karmic relationship because we have the Fountain and the Star. To me, these are very, it's like 2 stars, twin star energy. So that's going to be a really big and overwhelming for some of you energy when you meet it. Try to embrace that. Sometimes that's like a once in a lifetime sort of partnership when it comes through. And we got this sort of sacred union. So if you've been looking for it for a while, the opportunity's knocking and it's saying, are you ready for this big love right now? Even for those of you in an existing relationship, it definitely strikes me as there's some karmic energy attached to this. The karma of those past relationships tends to focus on disappointment, like someone broke your heart before, but that's an old record. That's not what's happening now. So whether you're in love or you're looking for love, that record's broken, and you're going to create a new groove for yourself using the analogy of like an LP or vinyl record. Okay, if you are single and happy, good for you. You're still going to have a lot of people around you because, like I said, this is an attractive card. These are at least 3 people that want your time and energy. There was going to be more than that, in fact. So this is a good time for you to focus on networking and realizing that there is power in numbers, and you can get more done with other people, okay? All right, now let's take a look at your Destiny card. And Destiny is something that I view as malleable. It's a chance for you to decide, do I like the path that I'm on? So love and accept yourself is what this card says. And it says the angels are guiding you in this path of self-acceptance as well. So all you have to do is offer gratitude and say, thank you for teaching me. Thank you for guiding me. I love and accept who I am, or I love and celebrate the person that I'm working to become. You have to start with that first, because without self-acceptance and self-love, others cannot sort of like give that love in kind. So if you don't love yourself, others can't love you. They can't fill the void for you. So it has to start with saying, I am the best that I can be, and that's enough for me, and it should be more than enough for someone else. Start with that, and then eventually get to the point where you say, I love and celebrate myself. In the least egotistical way, just in the sort of like cherishing of, hey, I work hard to sort of be this person and give the best that I could give, okay? Some of you are still working on that a little bit, and that also presents itself here, but it wants to come through, it wants to heal, and I think that is really important. I have an interesting question in chat. Yeah, of course I pray. Meditation is prayer. There's no difference. When you close your eyes and you connect to source energy, what is that but prayer? When you close your eyes and connect to your guides, what is that but prayer? When you close your eyes and you hear the voice of a loved one and you send love to them, that's prayer. We call it different things, but meditation is that. You can pray on a yoga mat as you're sitting there breathing and connecting to source. You can pray in a church, you can pray in a mosque, you can pray outside as you are planting your flowers. My grandfather said that. He didn't go to church. But he said, my church is my garden. I sit out here and I get a lot of peace and I connect to source, and I totally understand that all these years later. I talk about the Hierophant and the keys. You don't need to go into a room with doors and a person telling you how to do it. We all can do it on our own. So yeah, I pray, but it may not be the way all of us, we all do it differently. So to each their own. Just a little question there. But it's a good one. I answered it because it's a good question. But do you pray? It's more about intention. I would say the important thing here is with the Magician card, here's why it was an okay thing for me to kind of focus on. What I would really say is, what's your intention? Do I set intentions every day, every minute of every hour? Yes, I set intentions. And I think that's even more powerful. And this whole thing that we're doing here is a form of prayer and meditation. I've decided to spend about an hour to an hour and a half with all of you as I'm solely connecting with Source. So welcome to a group prayer and a group meditation. That's what we're doing right here and right now. Okay. Someone asked how I'm doing. I'm going to get into the next portion. I'm fine. I'm still looking for an apartment. This place is much better. I'm able to do live readings here, so it's nice. So thank you for asking. If you just joined, welcome everybody. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're going to be taking a look at the next portion of this reading, which is a big idea. What is the big idea, you ask? It is one thing that you can focus on as you go through the next 6 to 8 weeks so that you can basically make the most out of it, right? All right, so let's take a look here and see what's going on here. Big idea for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And we have the 8 of Cups, making and breaking cycles. So this is a chance where you can do a little bit of both. We see the person here kind of in shadow walking beyond this. Let's look at the traditional 8 of Cups while we're talking, and I'll talk about the power of this. First message in the big idea, sleep on it. If you have a big decision and you have the luxury of not having to make it right now, don't. Take a night to sleep on it. I talked about the importance of rest and consider, is this what I want? If you are ready to leave something big in your life, but you're not sure yet how, why, etc., and you can take something like a sabbatical or a vacation, do that. A little bit of separation is going to give you what you need. So here's the 8 of Cups. With the 8 of Cups, we always see one cup that's missing. Ostensibly, the person is taking that cup with them on the journey, even though we see all 8 cups here. There's room for them to return. By taking this sort of trip into their mind, maybe possibly even into a physical space, they can gain perspective. They can go into this energy of consideration. Who am I? Where do I stand? What do I want? So you're going to take a step back, go into the energy of the 7 of Cups for a second, then come back into the energy of the 8 of Cups and say, I know what I want now. And it's this. Because it's stronger for you to know with confidence that you want it. And there's always room for some of you then to come back into that energy. With the card in reverse, it's saying some of you are ready, finally, maybe for the first time in a long time, to step away from something, okay? So good for you. And some of you for the first time are ready to step into something. Now the only thing that's missing is a sense of certainty. So the 8 of Cups is actually bringing a completely separate question for the big idea, which again is what we're talking about. So the big idea this month is take the time to be certain and then do something and express that certainty. Be certain and then do something about the certainty. Okay, so that's your big idea. Now we're going to move into blessings and blocks, things that can help you, things that can distract you. Okay, wow. So you got to volunteer. I'm going to go beyond that. This is sort of just an extra bonus card. And yeah, we have 333. So thank you to everybody that gave me 333. All right. So blessings and blocks. You got a bonus that literally popped out of the deck. So the blessing is the King of Wands and the block is the Knight of Swords reversed. But beyond that, Spirit had a special message here, which is a leap of faith. You're going to be able to get through this no matter what. It's a new beginning. So really everything's a blessing in disguise is what the universe is telling us right now. All right. So blessing first. The blessing is that a clear vision, a clear and I would say also not only this, clear vision and clear leadership is what you're going to need to take you to the next level. I'm sure we've all been in a situation. It can even be a relationship because we can all relate to this. So whether it's your family or the person that you love, your partner, and you're the one that has to plan everything. You're like, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? What movie do you want to see? I don't know. What do you want to see? You occasionally want someone in your life that has a point of view and could at least give you an option and say, you know what? I like this and this. And then maybe you can even talk a little bit. And it's good to have that discourse. So in this moment, don't be the person that doesn't have a plan or doesn't have an idea. Be the person that comes forward and says, I'm open, but this is my preference. Thanks for asking. I'm really interested in this. What do you want? That's a way to be open without sort of like being bossy. So you're going to be able to kind of navigate when to be the boss and when to just sort of like state an opinion. But no matter how you look at this, people want to know that you at least have a point of view. So your blessing is you have a point of view, state it. Your block could be that you're swallowing your thoughts or words because we have the Knight of Swords reversed. Typically, I would say that's just like getting to the point. But because of the way we're looking at all of this, it could also be like wanting to say it and then biting your tongue. So the strength of the Knight of Swords is he or she can simply go forward and say, yeah, I want this, or this is my opinion, or it's a question like I talked about with the daily card pull today. How about this? It doesn't have to, that's a great way to put something out if you're not 100% wanting to step on someone's shoes. You could say, I know we said this, but have you thought about this? So that'll help you out, hopefully navigate this. So one more time as we review this, we got a bonus card that literally flew out of the deck saying, all you have to do is take a step. You're being led. You're going to be okay. This is a new beginning. People want to hear that you have a point of view no matter what, whether you're in big boss mode or you're just kind of presenting an option for dinner. Don't vacillate. Put it out there. And the importance here is to be brief and to, again, extend that sort of thought through words or through communication. All right, let's now get interactive. I'm glad that we can kind of talk and chat again in real time here. Even though this is a temporary place, at least for the next month or so, I'll be able to do lives, and I'm so happy about that. Let's look at the cards in front of us and vote on some topics that you might want to see. So let me go ahead and create a poll for us. And let's look at some stuff here. I want to open up the opportunity for us to look at the Three of Swords. So what is the healing opportunity? That's the first question. How to release cords, old cords. Let's see what else is coming through. How to focus. How to recognize opportunity. Those are some great, some great options actually. How to recognize opportunity. Okay, so I'm basically clarifying a bunch of cards with all of these. If you like a bunch of these, try to get a tie and I'll read two. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to take a look at where's the money. Why don't we see any resources coming through for you? So we'll start off first with the reader's choice, which is the missing pentacles. I pulled a lot of cards and we haven't seen them yet. Okay, so starting with reader's choice, we have Seven of Wands. And what I like about the Seven of Wands is it's just pushy enough, actually. Let me show you the traditional Seven of Wands while we're doing this, and please vote on the other topic while I'm doing that. All right, so here's what Seven of Wands is well adept at, multitasking. Anything you throw in the direction of the Seven of Wands, it can handle. The Seven of Wands is also fiercely able to defend something that they love. So you can go after something, no one's going to basically step on your foot. You're going to be able to get what you want. It's also pushy, and that's what I want to show here. So let's take a look at it. So basically the way to get the money, the time, the resources, or the support that you need, you're going to have to push it into someone's point of view. Not to the point that you're obnoxious, but if somebody has been reluctant to have a meeting with you and they say, can we to delay till tomorrow? Say, no, we really need to talk today. Just pick a time or give me 5 minutes now. If you have the time to say you can't meet me, you actually have 2 or 3 minutes to talk. You can be that bold. They won't expect it. Just say, no, I need at least 5 minutes of your time. How about now? Or let's fit me in at the very last appointment and I don't want to be delayed. Push for time on the calendar. You're going to know how far you can push based on the person in the hierarchy. But the other thing is if someone's too pushy with you, you push right back. And if they're like, well, we need this done tomorrow, you could say, not without some additional help. I can't work another late night. Get me some help and we can do it. Or no, it's going to be bad if we do that. No, it's not possible. You may want it. I also want a unicorn, but that's not going to happen today. So let's figure, don't say it that way. But, it's sort of like you have to kind of let them know that it's absurd. And sometimes we have to paint the picture. We would all like that, but this is what's possible. Is that good enough for you? So get pushy. I very rarely say that, but push for the right thing. We can even see it here. He's like, wait a second. Is that really necessary, or who's asking for it? Sometimes, I worked long enough in corporate environments to know that sometimes it's just your boss's insecurity. Their boss isn't expecting it. There's no one else around them that wants it. They just want it in case somebody wants it. So you'll have to kind of navigate your way around to figure out if that's the case. But sometimes we work really hard and it's for nothing. So I want you to save yourself the time and energy of working for someone else's fear. Make sure that there's an actual reason for this, okay? So there you go. Yeah, it is a little sassy, but you have to push back in this moment. You can find a way, so if I were to take the sass factor down by like half, if someone wants you to work late, you could say, I'm really feeling, I'm afraid I might get sick. I need some rest. I can come in early tomorrow instead. How about if we, instead of needing this first thing tomorrow, how about noon? I'll come in early. I'll try to knock it out first thing in the morning. You can always come back with meeting them halfway, or simply say, I really need some support. I'll lead the charge here, but I need someone can this person come off that project and help me out? I think if I have one more person, we can do it. Or if we had X amount more money, we can do it. But otherwise, there's no way it can be done. Give them a reason, a rhyme, or a way, and then it's up to them to come through. And if they can't, you didn't say no, you say, I need this to make it happen. I'd like it too, but this is what's necessary, okay? So you don't have to be sassy, but you do have to ground it in something realistic and tangible. The missing pentacles are still there. So you're going to say, this is what we need to have that happen. Can I count on you for that? Throw it right back at them. Can I count on you for that support? Because if so, then I can do this for you. Okay? Let's see what you chose for me. All right, let's end the poll here. And it looks like we have a really clear winner. How to recognize the Three of Wands, which was in reverse. So a good question. How can you recognize an opportunity? Make sure that nothing's passing you by. Welcome, everyone. And thank you to those that gave stickers. I will say thank you at the very end. All right, so how to recognize it. 10 of Cups. All right, so let's talk about this. Well, first of all, with the 10 of Cups card, some of you have worked really hard to get to this moment in time here. So take a moment to have fun. I think that one thing that's coming through is that I guess historically we've been taught that celebrating, recognizing, relaxing, or whatever, kind of like having that moment where you're just saying, I did it, there's something wrong. We have to be humble and hold ourselves back. One of the opportunities that's going to come through, like I said earlier, with this sort of partnership energy that came through in wealth, it actually comes through when you have fun. So I'd love for you, one of the opportunities this month, it's a sort of roundabout way of answering this, comes through a celebration. So if somebody invites you to a party, to a get-together, to a gathering, one of the opportunities, one of the future opportunities comes from that. So even if it's only you making an appearance for an hour or so, or again, it's been a really long work day and you want to do something, you want to have some fun, just do the gatherings, do the connections, spend some time with those people. One of the other opportunities, again, it's the universe answering in a roundabout way, is love and family and relationship, because that's 10 of Cups. Not necessarily as illustrated here, but as we know, the 10 of Cups is love and partnership in all of the elevated forms. And also realizing that one of the opportunities is touching and reaching and connecting with that larger community right now too. So give yourself permission to do more of what you love with who you love and spend more time networking with those people, because that is where the doors open up, okay? And if you even were silently wondering, hey, Nicholas, is this a month where I can finally start to experience love and appreciation and all of that? Yes, it's here. The other opportunity is to find a place where you can be loved and accepted. So there's a lot of toxic work environments out there where they are asking you to work way too many hours, where there's not enough appreciation, maybe where they rule by fear or ridiculing. So one of the other opportunities here is to go to a place where you're loved. So the card is all about love. And it's saying basically, love yourself, love what you're doing, spend time with the people that you love, make sure that you're going out, make sure that you're networking, make sure that you're having fun. The opportunity is this, the 10 of Cups. all of that. And that helps you get to the top. That helps you get to the next level. And you may actually be setting yourself up for a great partnership, be it friend, love, or business. Okay? So that's how you recognize it. It feels good and it feels like home, and the people are really receptive to you. You don't have to change. You get to just shine. You get to just be you. Okay? So if you're experiencing something where they want you to change, or they say my way or the highway, it may be time for the highway. Okay? It may be time for a different path, and you can decide how quickly to go to the highway, but that's one of the things that I see there. Okay? All right, I hope that answered your question. Let's move on to sun, rising, and moon messages. As I said at the very beginning, you can always use this for any part of your chart, but I always like to drill into these 3 sections because as a reader, that's what I suggest that you look at. It's also what I like to look at when I'm looking at my own chart. So let's go ahead now and delve into sun, rising, and moon. Sun, rising, moon. Wow, all the swords and big cards came out to play for this. All right, let's begin with sun sign messages. All right, this is a reality check from the universe. For the sun sign, we have the 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords represents, for many of you, the recognition that someone has been acting in a way that just isn't quite right. So this can be someone saying that they're going to do something and they fall short of their promises, or fall short of your expectations. More nefariously, it can be someone that acts behind the scenes and says things behind your back in a way that is unbecoming or not right. So with respect to that, though never fun, it's always better to know when this happens, and it's best to disconnect with that. If there's anyone in your life that tempts you to do something, it can be as little as this. Maybe there's a vending machine and you just punch it and something free comes. You might get caught even with something like that. Don't try to get away with something. This is a time where accountability is at its maximum or at its peak. So encourage others to be accountable and be accountable yourself. And that's the thing that all of us can take away from this. The reality check is, if you say you're going to do it, can you do it? Will you do it? And if you can't or you won't, don't say it. So a lot of times we make little white lies and promises that we won't keep. So we might see someone on the street and say, oh my God, we should totally hang out. In your head, you're like, I never want to hang out with that person, or I'm not going to hang out with them. Don't say that. Instead, say, hey, how are you doing? Don't make a promise, or, you can even just say, well, thanks for saying hello. And if they say we should hang out, just say, I'll have to check my calendar. It's been a busy month. Don't make a promise. Those little white lies add up to bigger ones. More importantly, if there's something and you just don't feel good about it, don't lead someone on either. So in a relationship, if you don't feel the spark, and by the way, that's what this is, you can't fake it, you can't force it. So if you don't feel the spark with something, just say, I'm not feeling it. I like you, I enjoyed today, but I'm just not feeling the connection. So it's accountability. That's how you elevate this particular card, is to stay super accountable. And that's the main message. If you recognize anyone that's not being accountable, that's taking some sort of a shortcut, or that's doing something wrong, speak up, because the center card was the Page of Swords. And if we look really quickly at these cards, so that's speaking up, that's the spotlight, and all of these are why you can't get away with this. So you just want to make sure you're on the right side of history with this particular situation. All right, so those are the messages for sun sign. Ultimately, remember everything that we talked about earlier. You're still in a really good position to shine. With that comes scrutiny, and with that scrutiny, you can't afford one of these little missteps. So you're not going to make that misstep, and you're not going to have to worry about it. You can also cut your losses with the 7 of Swords. In the traditional card, you see someone sneaking away, but they can also just be deciding to cut losses and move on. So it's okay to cut losses. Sometimes it's the best thing to do. Moving on to the rising. This is very much connected with what I featured in the channeled messages. So let's do a mini review of that slide, and then we'll get into this. So I mentioned judgment, and here we go for rising. So for judgment, you may be looking at the past with nostalgia, sometimes beating yourself up. Remember that we had the forgiveness card that came through today. You're going to forgive yourself. As long as you learn from anything, you're going to be okay. And as I said in this slide, the important thing to remind yourself of is the ability to kind of like a phoenix, rise from the past or rise from the ashes. So this is a second chance for many of you, a chance to sort of like prove yourself right or worthy, prove other people wrong, and just kind of move into this new beginning. Judgment is also letting go of harsh judgments of yourself or of others. So the only one we have to worry about is ourselves at the end of this lifetime. When all is said and done, we sit up in the ethers, basically looking at our book of our life with our guides through our own eyes, and we are our own judge. God doesn't judge us per se. We judge ourselves with that sort of energy of creation. So that's all you got to focus on. That's why when people say all of these things about other people, I'm like, just focus on you. You do you. You do you, and that's going to be more than enough. And if someone says something about you, know that it's probably a projection. And that really connects with our totem today, the camera, because it not only records, but you can also think of it like a film camera or whatever. It can also project. Depends on how you're using the lens and all of that. So don't worry about other people's projections. This is your time to write a new chapter, to bounce back, to create a new page in your journey. Okay? Let's move on to Moon. So for Moon, we have rest, recovery, and I love that little bird at the top. It's also saying, listen to your higher self. There are different cards of transition in tarot. We just saw one of them. So there was a card of transition for rising. We also have a card of transition here for Moon. So one common message here that I'm seeing for all the different aspects for Virgo is something's ending. There's a chapter, there's a door closing. For those of you in Moon, this could be a little bit more subtle, and there could also be a person, a place, or a thing where you're like, I haven't heard from them in a while. That's a form of communication. So silence speaks volumes. So if you're feeling like there's parts of your life where there's crickets and there's not a lot of activity, accept that, look at that, and then think, all right, I'm going to take a half step, breathe for a moment, and then focus on what do I want to do next? Because clearly that chapter is kind of coming to a close. There's something that I can do that's different. Make sure if you haven't taken a break, that you take a break. Now, the Moon card is also people looking at you in relationships possibly as being a little bit like you're holding back a little bit, or you're maybe not putting the energy forward as much as they'd like. So this is a chance to sort of like let people know how you feel in a relationship as well. All right. Those are the messages for Sun, Rising, and Moon. We're getting ready now for the final portion of today's reading, which constitutes 3 parts: a meditation, a sound bath, and a final card. So earlier in today's reading, there was someone that was asking me questions. You can always save that question for the very end, and I'll pull a card, you'll meditate on it, and you'll get general feedback on that. So stick around, that'll be the final part. We're going to meditate together today, and we're going to focus on this energy. I'm going to help you cut cords so that you can focus on being clear, clean, and unencumbered. Before we do that, I only ask a couple times during the reading, but if you enjoyed any part of this, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. We're at that magical 333. When I get to 350, I'll do another sort of community choice here. So we'll do something fun. So let's hit that next milestone in a few months, hopefully. You can also hit the bell icon so that you are aware of any future videos that I do. Join me on social media if you'd like. I'm on all of these platforms. You can see some other ones that I'm on as well on my website. Remember, I never use direct messages or offer products or services outside of YouTube. Thank you to everybody that's given back today. I appreciate it. And I will say your names at the end. Okay, let's go ahead now and focus on the meditation. So today we're going to clear and clean your energy so that you can be that brilliant star that we see here. Imagine yourself, go ahead and close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just relax first and foremost, and then we'll paint the scene. So nice deep inhale. Stretch your arms up and out, and exhale. Relax. You can kind of move your shoulders and your neck around a little bit. Loosen up the muscles. Allow yourself to feel supported and relaxed. All right. At this point, I'd like you to see yourself laying down on this beautiful blanket, staring up at the firmament above you, the starry sky, and kind of looking at all the constellations glimmering back at you. And as you breathe, I want you to imagine that with the exhale, you can see your breath for a moment because it's kind of cool outside. And you watch as the breath kind of goes across the stars and makes them shimmer a little bit more. Imagine that one star in particular is shining and it's right above your heart. And you can see this single starlight, the single ray of starlight shining down on that heart chakra. And close your eyes and just feel this connection to Source, to your higher self, to something bigger than you. And in this moment, I want you to think to yourself something like this. I am complete. I'm enough. I may be a work in progress, but I'm more than enough for myself, and I should be more than enough for others. Feel this sense of satisfaction that the progress, the love, and the journey has created this sense of completeness, that you are indeed more than enough. You are worthy. Really focus on the self-worth and the self-love. Put your hands on your heart and feel that energy starting to grow. And imagine that at some point, your heart is shining with such light that even if you tried to hold back the light, you couldn't. You can see beams shooting out from each and every opening in your hands. You can see beams shooting out from every cell in your body. And although your body is on the earth plane, you see your subtle body starting to rise up and levitate. And in this moment, it is as bright as a star. Now look at all the connections you have in your life. Connection to your parents, your mother, your father, connections to your aunts or uncles, your brothers or sisters or cousins, your lovers, your teachers, your bosses, your friends, your enemies. Everybody you've ever met in your life. See all of the connections to them. And in this moment, imagine that your star is being born. And if you were to see that in any kind of universe, it would be this bright light, this kind of explosion as the fuel or the furnace inside of that star ignites. In this ignition, there's going to be a severing of all the ties around you. All of these things that had been holding you or defining you or weighing you down, they are now gone. The people are still there and now they're orbiting you. They're not out of reach. You can always pull them close if you need to. But in this one moment, in this moment of this meditation, you have nothing holding you down. You have nothing defining you except your heart and your mind. So revel in this for a moment, because there aren't many times in our life that we are free of that energy, and redefine what it is to be you, what it is that you want in your life. And as you redefine that, I'm going to play the singing bowl here, and then we'll come back in a moment and look at whatever final question you have for me. In the meantime, relax and enjoy. Take one last deep breath. Allow this new stellar energy to slowly descend back into the heart space. And feel this warmth and light move through your body. And redefine who you are. Think to yourself, I am stronger, I am wiser, I am ready, I am worthy. And one last time, say to yourself, I release all connections from my past. I release any fears or anxieties because they have no place now. They have no purpose now in this new version of me. By releasing these connections, I liberate myself and I liberate others. Place your hands on your heart. Exhale, open your eyes, and welcome back, everybody. I'd like you now to focus on whatever question you have for me. Some of you had a question earlier. Now is the time to get that question answered. Let's focus on the question. Let me shuffle the cards and let's see what's coming through. Queen of Cups would be a yes to a yes/no question. So here we have a card of receptivity, which basically shows the work that we just did together in the meditation. It's a yes to love. It's a yes to creativity. It's a yes to anything that you want to do for yourself. It is a heightened sensitivity card, so it comes with a cautionary note, which is don't let your vulnerability or sensitivity sort of come in the way of you doing something that you want to do. You're going to be okay. We have so many elevated cards in the general Celtic Cross today that it feels like you're going to be all right. But I do see that sensitivity there. So be aware of your triggers, be aware of your sensitivity, and make sure that that's something that you use to your advantage and lean into. But some of you may be finding love in this period of time, or you may just be working on that self-love and that sort of forgiveness that we talked about when we looked at health. So yay, across the board, looking really good for you. And it was a Queen of Cups upright. So this is coming back, bouncing back, or rising above any challenging situations, because Queen of Cups can also be an emotionally intense situation. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up today. I'm going to take a couple moments here to give some shout outs to all of my members and anybody who was kind enough to give back. So give me a moment to do that. While I do that, a couple of quick programming notes. I'm always live on Monday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. I do daily one-card reads as well, and I occasionally do additional ones beyond that. So please keep an eye on the channel for more information with respect to that. All right, let's start and see if we have any new... We didn't have any new members today, so let's just go straight into Super Stickers and Super Chat. We will begin with Tahoe. It's so good to see you. Welcome back. Thank you for your contribution. Damla, thank you as well. Love and peace to you. I appreciate it. Vesta, thank you very much for coming through. I'm glad you got some validation here, and I hope that your manifestation works out. Esmeralda, thank you as well. Let's see, Seraph Tarot, welcome very much. Virgo, thank you, Virgo girl. Melissa Russell, Amber, let's see, Darren Christopher, thank you very much. And I think that's everybody. Let me see if I missed anyone that just gave back right now. I think that's it. Let me see if there was any highlighted member comments here. I think, no, we got everybody. I hope I got everybody. All right. Thank you so much to all that participated today. It was my pleasure to be here for you. Again, it looks like there is some great opportunities in front of you. Resources are the biggest challenge this month. Use the power of your voice. Use the power of manifestation to open that up. Be realistic and be accountable, as we saw. That's going to help you as well. Lots of love and light to all of you. I'll see you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves and just have a fantastic day ahead. All right, I'm going to go take Apollo for a walk. He's already sitting by the door saying, let's go, Dad. So I'll see you guys later. And again, much appreciation to all of you. All right, bye-bye.